Hello, I'm Father Louis SCURTI, and I welcome you to Friends of the Word. Today, my guest is Barbara STOMBER. Barbara, welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Barbara, thank you. Barbara and I have known each other, we're trying to count before the show, about 30 years. And, I guess we were 12 when we met each other. And Barbara and I worked together at William Patterson University. I first met Barbara when she was involved with the SGA, the Student Government Association, and then she grew into a different position as manager of donor relations, also at William Patterson. So, 30 years I was at William Patterson, so there's a lot of history and there's a lot of connections. Today we're going to talk about, and Barbara is very involved with climate action. She began with, I guess, Claire?
Yes, we started, Claire Komiak and I are friends and co-workers at William Patterson for, my goodness, I guess I know Claire for about 40 years.
Wow.
We started in Boy Scouts with our sons, and then it evolved into the two of us working at William Patterson together.
Active people stay active. I mean, isn't that amazing? I just heard a report on the news that there are more Americans living to 100. And that's always been my goal. I want to live to 100 years old. But I don't want to be feeble and dripping and drooling and all that good stuff. But you and I are going to be well into our hundreds, and we're still going to be active.
I hope to be active.
Yes.
Absolutely hope to be active.
So you and Claire started this action committee.
Yes, we started the Climate Action Committee in 2007, and it was all about the college being sustainable.
Yes.
We kind of got hooked on watching films. Inconvenient Truth was one of them.
Right.
So we became very, very active in ecological movements. So we founded the Climate Action Committee in 2007, and we worked on that together.
What was the goal of the committee?
Sustainability. One of the things that we did was we had students, faculty, and staff on the committee. One of the key people was Lou Pondle, and at the time we were working towards getting solar panels.
Yes.
And that actually came to fruition. And we also...
let me just stop you there. Not only came to fruition, the entire parking lot, one of the entire parking lots, is covered with solar panels.
Right.
And that was only a few years ago.
Right.
So you initiated that years ago.
We can't say we're responsible for it, but we certainly encourage the sustainability of the campus.
Explain to our audience sustainability.
Sustainability is the process of recycling, keeping things in line with nature. And right now, we are utilizing things and purchasing things and consuming things that are beyond the natural cycle. We are not able to recycle. Our Earth is not able to recycle
as much as
we are using.
Okay, and Barbara's here as an individual working with St. Mary's, and we're going to talk about that later, and the various groups that she's involved with climate action. But we have no better reference point than His Holiness Pope Francis, who wrote the encyclical Laudato Si on care of our common home. And we're going to talk about that, the encyclical, at another program, but exactly what you're saying he refers to.
Absolutely.
We're just not able to keep recycling.
Exactly. So Pope Francis is an amazing example for us, and so I'm very pleased to be with the Franciscan Response, because that is carrying his message out every day. That is our goal, is educational awareness on the environment.
I want to talk, there's so much I want to talk about, but the group you're involved with at St. Mary's is, but with sustainability, let's stay right there. The Earth can't deal with how much garbage, then basically that's exactly what the Pope says. What do we do with it? What's the solution? What can they do?
Right now, what we're looking at, of course, is recycling, okay? Recycling is part of it, but what we do at St. Mary's, basically, is we work with groups, start with recycling, start with lighting, efficient lighting. But the big thing that we work on as a group is going to the legislators. We go to Trenton, we see our legislators, we try to encourage them to ban certain things, like we're working on pipelines right now. And so that is some of the things that we are concentrating on.
There were so many levels to your conversation. You go to the legislature. Give our audience an idea of what it means to go to our legislators. I mean,
well, first of all, we try to get appointments.
Okay.
Okay, so we
through their office.
Yes,
call,
absolutely.
Try to make the appointments.
We try to get appointments, and then we go when there's a particular bill, like we had a fracking waste bill, and we'll go to Trenton to try to get that bill passed. We want no frack waste in New Jersey.
Right.
There's a tremendous amount of frack waste.
We'll tell you what that is in a second.
We have over, about 1.7 million wells in the United States that are fracked, either oil or gas.
Okay, explain fracked.
Fracking is a process of, before fracking started, we used to drill for oil and drill for gas conventionally. You would go down with equipment about 300, maybe 300 feet below the surface. Now, with the advent of hydraulic equipment, you can go down normally 5,000 to 10,000 feet below the surface, because what they find down there is shale, and shale can be broken up, and then it releases oil or gas. And then it goes horizontally for another 5,000 plus feet underground, horizontally, continuing to break up the shale. Now, when they put the shale, the equipment into the ground, they need anywhere from 2 to 5 million gallons of water. Think about how precious water is. They mix it with sand, they mix it with toxic chemicals. So that flowback is what causes a major problem, because it's called frack waste.
Yes.
We have to get rid of that. So that is a major problem for us.
And right now, where is that frack waste being put?
Well, most of it is put in storage tanks, above ground, until it can be injected into the ground. So they're injecting this poisonous, toxic waste underground. And the problem with that is it's been linked to earthquakes, not only in Ohio, but it's also been linked to earthquakes in Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma previously had a record of like no earthquakes at all. So now that they've been storing this, injecting this so deeply into the ground, it's lubricating the plates of the earth and causing earthquakes. So we have problems all around.
So we're not taking care of our planet.
We are not, as the Pope has said, our common home.
Yes, and so many of these corporations are going to other lands, not only the United States, the Amazon and other areas, and doing the same. And the people who live there are just being used and just ignored, and left with all this poison.
One of the encouraging factors for me to get into the environmental movement is, in the early 90s, I had gone to Ecuador and went to the rainforest. And people basically were washing their clothes, the native peoples along the rivers were washing their clothes in oil, because there was so much leakage. So, so that was a
And they
big
received
impetus for me.
nothing as a recompense for their destructive
I
land.
haven't really followed that, but, basically, that's another thing that the Pope talks about.
Absolutely.
It's externalization. The fact is that you're looking at the bottom line, You're looking at how much you can sell, okay? But you're not looking at what happens down the road.
Yes. And
We're
gonna
not
talk about-
looking what's happening
Right.
down the road.
And we're going to talk about that in another episode. But I want to introduce your shirt because we're going to talk about that at the next show. St. Mary's, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey, is a Franciscan church, very close to us. Great people, great parish, and the Franciscan Response to Fracking. That's the committee you're on.
Yes,
And
it
we'll
is.
talk about that at our next program. So just tune in and put into the search bar STOMBER, STOMBER, and you'll get the next show when we do it. Thank you, Barbara. This has been wonderful.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. Keep us alive and well by passing us on to other people. And let me hear from you, Father Lou, Father Lou SCURTI @hotmail.com. Thank you very much for joining us. God bless you.